Hello, wonderful people. Will Thunder Talks here with another video. Today, you may or may not know, but your boy was in Berlin last week, the capital city of Germany. Guten Tag, Dankeschön, Auf Wiedersehen. Got to flex my very basic Duolingo skills in the capital city of Germany, and it certainly had me have some space and time to reflect on what I'm about and what I'm doing. And I think it was a really interesting contrast because if you've been watching the week prior, or a couple of weeks prior, I went to Vienna, the capital city of Austria. And I think they're really interesting cities to contrast with each other because Vienna's this old, beautiful city. There's beauty on every corner. Every single building's intriguing and wonderful architecturally, and it draws from so many points in history, and then the Austro-Hungary Empire that built this massive city because Vienna was the biggest city in Europe for a very long time prior to World War One. So yeah, they got a lot of cool history there, and it really reflected probably more of the Renaissance beauty that I would expect from it being an old European city. And then I go to Berlin, and Berlin is a completely different vibe. Berlin's modernistic, a lot of probably more brutalistic architecture. They've got palaces and they've got pretty places, right? Don't get me wrong. The city centre was very pretty. The River Spree you go through, very nice, very pretty, but there's Roman columns. There's a lot more Roman columns anyway. There was a little bit in Vienna, but a lot more in Berlin. And I went to a few art galleries in Berlin, and I went to a few different museums. I went to the Charlottenburg Palace, saw the Foo Fighters live. That was sick as hell. That's ultimately why I was going, but I went on the old train, the old metro, the Berlin Metro, which is big, probably the biggest metro I've been on apart from the London Underground. I don't know if the London Underground's bigger or not, but it was a really interesting city. It's a city with a lot of variety, it made me very curious about myself in relation to this city, because I got there and usually I'm really excited to explore a new place, and I went there with my wife, and I haven't got on this the last trip I went on with my wife was to Krakow last year in Poland. That was cool, but again, a very different city. Krakow was kind of more the old European. The buildings were pretty. It was busy, but it wasn't Berlin busy. Berlin's a different beast. So initially I was kind of put off a bit by the busyness, the brutal architecture. It's kind of a little bit of a gritty city is probably the way I would describe Berlin. I went to all kinds of places. I went to the Riot Game Studios, didn't actually get to go in, but I stood outside and pined about going back. I might have to go back just to go and see an LEC game live, because I've never done that, and I love LOL esports. It'd be amazing to see a game live. But I guess something I always love to do when I go to a new city. I went to Sachsenhausen as well, a concentration camp, right? And something that Berlin has really taught me about myself is that how I respond to capital cities, right? Because historically I've had this bias where I'm I don't know about capital cities, man. They're a bit too much for me. They're a bit too intense, too metropolitan, too built up. The pace is too quick. There's too much going on. A bit overwhelmed all the time, probably because I'm a little special, a little neurodiverse, neurodivergent, because I'm dyslexic, and the volume's a little too high for me, right? So I go to Berlin. My preconceptions of Berlin were the city of infinite partying and raves and risque sexuality, openness, and a bit of kink and a bit of this, bit of that, bit of history, definitely a lot of history. The Berlin Wall, we went and saw and touched, and crossed the boundaries of Checkpoint Charlie, another really iconic place in Berlin. but it felt very American to me, like the architecture of Berlin. That's what I mean by kind of maybe a bit more like brutalist and like utilitarian, like probably because, really interestingly, Berlin has like a really clear split, right? The east was the communist side and the west was the kind of Western occupied time of the war, World War II. And I think this creates a really, really interesting stark contrast in the architecture, in how the places are inhabited, the history related to them, the vibes of the places, man. The communist places feel very Soviet, very utilitarian, kind of not very pretty, kind of more practical looking, a little grittier. You can even see it in the train stations. I took a lot of pictures of the train stations, and like you look at Potsdam station was just, I think, just on the east side. It was very plain, and then on the west side, like Wilhelmsdorf Strasse, probably butchered that. Was, you know, pretty colourful tiles on the wall, right? There's these interesting contrasts everywhere. There's a lot of, it's a city of contrast. It's a city of extremes. It's a city of buttoned up right? I'll give you a little fun story. Me and my wife, on the way back on the last day, right, we bought a 6-day ticket because we were there for 7 days. And we got in really late in the one day. We bought a ticket, so I thought, I'll get a 6-day ticket because we've got 6 days left, right? Because we showed up on the 7th day really late, and we'll have 6 days. So I have a 6-day ticket. So I buy it in the middle of the day, right? I'm like, happy days. And then on the last day, we start going back. We start heading back. Bear in mind, we've been on the metro and all the trains the whole time with the ticket. We hadn't intended to circumvent the rules of paying for our train fare, right? We had the ticket the whole time. We'd had the 6-day ticket. We'd used all the public transport. Back and forth. We used the train probably 100 plus times in the 6 days. We really liked the public transport in Germany. And the last day, on the way back to the airport, our ticket is an hour out of date. We are on the way to the airport. I hadn't realised. I just bought it at the wrong time of day. And we're checked for the first time. And I go on my phone, the Welcome Berlin app, and I have a look and I go, oh yeah, no problem. I've had the ticket the whole time. Yes, right you are, sir. Right you are. And I open my app. And my ticket expired an hour ago. My ticket expired an hour ago, guys. So I'm there like, oh, my ticket expired an hour ago. Oh man. Hello, nice train friend. We are on the U7 line, I think, just heading to the main train station in Berlin. And I was like, my bad, my ticket expired an hour ago. Can't buy another one now to just see me through to the airport, because I'm going to the airport. Got my suitcase here, here with my wife. It's just expired. You know, my bad. I'll buy a ticket now. And he's like, I'm afraid you cannot buy a ticket on the metro. You have to buy it off the metro because you didn't have a ticket at the time. You're going to be fined 120 euros, 60 euros each. And I was fuming. Boys. Fuming. I was like, come on, man. I literally tried not. I was following the rules. And I had to pay the fine. I had to pay it in cash. I paid it in cash. My bad. I should have checked the timing of my ticket before I got on the train. I was tired. We'd done a lot of things all week. I thought it would see us through to the airport. I bought the ABC ticket. You know, I take that on the chin. Very frustrating. The guy wasn't an asshole about it. He was cool and fine about it. But I guess that taught me Germans love their rules. They love their rules. Follow the rules, man. Follow the rules. I was following the rules. Just happened to mistakenly not follow them the whole time. So that was annoying. But I guess what Berlin taught me about myself was that actually, like, I can like a main city. There's actually a surprisingly high amount of things to do that aren't a lot of money in Berlin. And the Berlin people are more sexually liberal, certainly, than I'm usually accustomed to, you might say. They had the fun shop with the sign of a butt plug, just in the city centre. The UK would not do that, my friends. We have like Ann Summers, but it's very hush hush. It's very, oh, there's a lady in a bikini, she's attractive, but there's no, like, the sex toys are right at the back of the shop. Yeah, not like that in Berlin, buddy. It is out and proud. Wowee. I found that kind of cool. I thought that was cool. I love that. But also it was awesome to just see people around the city, like, hanging out and seemingly having a good time. We were out on a boat one day. We were like doing a cruise, river cruise down the River Spree, and there were people just doing a dance class out in the city streets, and I was like, that's beautiful. They were doing salsa or bachata or something like that. I ain't a dance dude, but I was like, wow, you'd never have that. Where I'm from, you wouldn't have people dancing in the street. You wouldn't have people gathering in a park and playing games and having fun with each other all day, all the time. That doesn't happen. I go and walk to my local park. Maybe there's kids kicking a ball around or something, but like dance classes outside just randomly on a Wednesday afternoon? No, that doesn't happen. But I thought that was kind of beautiful. There was kind of a beautiful community spirit about it. You know, and then we went to Karl Marx Street, and there was some really provocative street performance about like immigrants and immigration. And I was like, man, Berlin's really punk. Berlin's really, let's be together, let's hang out, let's, you know, as I'm talking about this, I'm like, man, Berlin rocked. But at the time I was kind of like, I guess I was struggling to like really vibe with it. I think something that traveling really exposes to me, I'm disgustingly British. I'm so British. I'm apparently quite Welsh, according to an ancestry search my sister did. I'm horrendously Welsh, in fact. I am 90% Welsh heritage, which makes sense considering I'm just over the Welsh border. I was born just over the Welsh border. A lot of my family's from Pembrokeshire in Wales. And we have a lot of Welsh traits, I would say. I think I look fairly Celtic. But yeah, there was really a community vibe there that I hadn't felt in definitely not London. Wowee, not London. But I think Berlin taught me that I am really British, and being exposed to these different ideas, different ways of being, it's really interesting, really exciting. It's actually cool being in a capital city where English isn't necessarily the default like lingua franca, which it is in a lot of European capital cities where there's like a decent amount of English, because German's such a big language, right? A lot of countries speak German. Austria speaks German. I think there's quite a bit of German in Switzerland. There's a lot of German language in Europe, right? So a lot of people just didn't speak German, and I speak a little bit of German, so it was nice to just go, ooh, yeah, Dankeschön, ich liebe Brot, ich habe 5 Euro, you know, like I could say a little bit, you know, I'm not saying I had a conversation, but I could get through interactions. It was quite exciting and thrilling for me to be able to be, to appear slightly bilingual. I am not, but it's very cool. And I quite liked Berlin. I think I need to go back. But that's what Berlin taught me about myself. I'm going to leave it there. You've been wonderful. I've been Will. Good luck. Maybe go to Berlin yourself. Sachsenhausen was heavy, dramatic. A lot of people died. Kind of a downer. But existentially important, in my opinion, to understand history in that visceral way. But I'm going to leave it there. No more from me. Good luck. Take care. See you in the next video. Bye-bye.